If I had to start working out again from scratch, I would do everything completely differently. I wasted a lot of time doing a lot of stuff that would not help me grow or would not help me gain strength at all. Had I known that these things would not help me, I would not have done them. You might be one of these. You probably just started training, or you've been training for a few months, you're a beginner, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to break down exactly what I would do different if I had to start from scratch all over again. We will start from training to nutrition all the way to mindset. Let's get into it. The first thing that I would do is that I would stop chasing muscle soreness. The first thing that I used to do when I started training before was that I used to chase muscle soreness all the time. I used to train till failure until my muscles gave out completely. But little did I know that this was not actually the proper way of training. If I wasn't completely sore or not able to move stuff with the muscle group I worked the next day, I thought I wasn't training hard enough. So the next day, I would push a lot more harder with more intensity. The thing is that muscle soreness is not a reliable indicator of muscle growth. It just represents that your muscle has been damaged and is actually probably recovering. So if your muscles are not sore, it does not mean that you didn't train hard enough. It might be that your muscles are used to it after a few weeks of training, so you might not feel the soreness again. This is an important subject because it could prove to be fatal for your muscle growth. You chase the burn every time, you go harder and harder on every other session, and in a while you're completely exhausted. Now I know that soreness is not an indicator of progress. It might mean that my muscles did something before that I was not used to doing, or that I skipped a lot of workouts and then I put in a very hard workout in and my legs are sore the whole day the next day. It could mean that, but other than that, it doesn't mean too much. What you should do is that you should progressively overload. You should aim to do more reps or increase your weights over time. This way you'll have a reliable indicator of growth. The second thing is that I would not focus on technique. When I started lifting, I used to focus on lifting heavier so that my muscles would grow bigger. But here's the thing, I did not realize that I was ego lifting and I was not actually training for hypertrophy. I had no control, I had no technique, my form was just sloppy. There was no real mind-muscle connection and I probably did not even grow any muscle during that time. It is now that I understand that how you lift matters more than what you lift. Especially for hypertrophy, you need controlled reps. You don't need a lot of weight, but you need controlled reps in your stretch position so that your muscles break down more, and when your protein synthesis hits, you grow a lot of muscle. What you can't do is, if you're able to only curl 10 kgs in one hand, if you go for 15 kgs, then it's not really going to work because you're not going to have proper form in it and you're going to just do this kind of movement instead of an actual curl. If I started over again and I did not know that my technique was good or not, then I would record my sets and I would watch them over and over again until I had fixed my technique. I would pick some exercises, get really good at that technique, and then keep doing that until maybe 5 or 12 weeks, and then I could switch them out for another exercise. The next thing, guys, is especially important. It is that I would start tracking my diet from day one. Here's one thing that cost me a lot of gains. I didn't really respect my diet. I did not care about the nutrition, I just ate whatever I used to eat before. But the thing is, there was not sufficient fuel for my body to actually build muscle. It got me through the day, but it did not really build me any extra muscle. I was not tracking anything. I was low on carbs, low on protein, nothing to really get my muscle building started. I was just eating snacks, whatever, whenever, and really just eating the things that I used to eat on a daily basis. You don't need to really eat broccoli and rice or broccoli and chicken 6 to 7 times a day. What you need to do is you need to eat about 200 or 300 calories above your maintenance level. You can calculate this using some websites, and you should get around 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight if you're aiming for maximum muscle gains. The next thing is that I would stop program hopping. Now this is a big problem. A lot of the times when you start working out, you work out with a certain plan for about 2 or 3 days, and then you go on TikTok or you go on Instagram. I don't really watch TikTok or Instagram too much, but you go on Instagram or you watch on TikTok, you see all these fitness influencers. They do this amazing workout that gets them this amazing shredded physique, and then you think, why shouldn't I do this? And then you go hop on their program and you don't really see much of a difference. The thing is, you should not really switch programs too often. If you switch programs too often, your muscles do not have time to adapt and grow at the same time. Gains don't come from novelty. They come from repetition and they come from consistency. You need to do the same lifts and get better at it again and again. If I had to start over again, I would start practicing a certain type of workout for around 8 to 12 weeks at least, and then if I had to switch it, I would switch it to target some other kind of muscles. I would focus on progressing, not replacing. The next thing is that I would prioritize recovery as a part of the workout. You've probably felt this before as well. You just have a rest day, you're sitting quietly on your bed, you probably are watching your phone, and then you see all these motivational videos, and then you think, oh my gosh, I'm being so lazy. I used to treat rest days as a weakness. I would feel guilty if I was not doing something productive or active every single day. The truth is that training is just the stimulus. You grow when you rest and you recover. I was sleeping 5 or 6 hours a day, overtraining, and then I was wondering why I was not seeing any gains. I have realized that I have made this mistake, and now I used to sleep around 7 to 8 hours every single day, and I take 1 or 2 rest days every single week. No exceptions. Also, don't be afraid to deload. Every 6 or 8 weeks, maybe around 3 or 4 months, you should pick some lighter weights and train with them so you come back stronger the next week. The last thing is that I would stop comparing myself to others. I used to see all these gurus on Instagram and TikTok. I used to watch a lot of TikTok and Instagram back then because I had to rely on motivation and I was not really disciplined to do all this gym stuff. And well, apart from that, I used to watch all these gurus or influencers on TikTok and Instagram, and they looked shredded. Now that I know about it, they were on the gear, they had better genetics than me, and they had been training way longer than what I have been training for, and hence they look a lot better than me. I used to compare these guys to myself and think, why am I not this good? The thing is that you should not really compare yourself to them. Your chapter is different from their chapter. If you know anything about muscle growth, you should know that muscle growth takes a lot of time. It requires pain, it requires discipline, it requires your consistency to show up every single day. You don't go from beginner to shredded in about 3 or 4 months. That's just not possible. You need to wait. You need to do these things consistently, and gradually your muscles will grow and you will look way better. If I had to start over again, I would focus on me and not the other stuff. I would focus on the progress that I was making and not the physiques that I saw on Instagram or TikTok every single day. No one's going to come and save you from doing all this hardship. You just need to be smart, confident, and consistent in this, and you see that the results will start pouring in. Yeah, now you know some of the things that I wish I knew before I started training. If you started training right now, or you've been doing this for maybe a few months, or you're stuck somewhere, maybe this has helped you a lot. If you're doing one of these mistakes and think that you can continue doing this, then take it from me, do not do it. Hopefully this saves you months of trial and error. If this helped, drop a like, comment on the video, and subscribe to my channel if you like the content. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.